Thanks to the betrayal and fraud of an elected Democrat turned Republican, the GOP in North Carolina has passed a draconian veto-proof bill which will crush a woman's reproductive rights after 12 weeks. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Alright, so full disclosure, this one stings because it hits close to home, quite literally. It concerns the state in which I live. You may recall that I did a video a couple of weeks ago about a woman named Tricia Cotham, who is a North Carolina state representative. She was elected as a progressive, relatively progressive, pro-choice Democrat in a deep blue district in 2022. She was sworn in January 2023, and then in April 2023, she officially announced that she was leaving the Democratic Party to join the Republican Party. And all of her constituents were justifiably pissed because it was seen as a betrayal, a fraud that was played on her constituents. Now, during the press conference, and I covered this in the video, she went out of her way to avoid. She was very weaselly, very sneaky, because she was asked very candid questions by the press. Well, this is sudden. You campaigned as one thing. Now you're saying you're something else entirely. Is this going to reflect how you vote? Right? Is this just a label change, or are you actually going to change the way you intend to legislate? And she implied that it would not change who she was, but she would never come out one way or another. And yet it seems, based on recent developments, that she has fully embraced her party's values and legislative priorities, because the Republican Party in North Carolina proposed a bill that would effectively ban abortions after 12 weeks. And we'll get into Tricia Cotham's personal history with reproductive rights, a right she has exercised. She has had an abortion. She has publicly declared that in the state house floor, like back in 2015. She gave a very passionate, very deeply personal, powerful speech to the importance of reproductive rights. She's exercised that right. And now she has voted to take that right away from others. See, when she joined the Republican Party in North Carolina, she gave them a veto-proof supermajority. They were one seat away. They needed one more person. And her defection gave them that, because we have a Democratic governor, Roy Cooper. So actually, speaking of the governor, I'm going to let him explain what's going on in this bill. It's a minute-long video. It covers the basics. And then we'll get into more about Tricia Cotham. So let's see what the governor has to say.
Right now, North Carolina Republicans are pushing an abortion ban that dramatically reduces women's health care freedom. They say this is a reasonable 12-week ban. It's not. The fine print requirements and restrictions will shut down clinics and make abortion completely unavailable to many women at any time, causing desperation and death. The fine print effectively bans medication abortion at 10 weeks. It requires 3 in-person clinic visits, which doctors say is medically unjustified, and many women can't afford the time, travel, and money for that if there are any clinics left. New burdensome and unnecessary requirements will cause many clinics to shut their doors. This bill has nothing to do with making women safer and everything to do with banning abortion. I'll veto this awful bill, but I need your help. Republican legislators like Ted Davis and Michael Lee from Wilmington, John Bradford and Tricia Cotham from Mecklenburg County made campaign promises to protect women's reproductive health. Demand that they keep their promises by sustaining the veto. Look, right-wing politicians don't belong in the exam room with women and their doctors. They can't be trusted. Together, let's stop this dangerous abortion ban.
So, straight from the mouth of the governor, well put. You heard it. Effectively banning abortion, medication abortion at 10 weeks, outright abortion at 12 weeks. The restrictions and impositions of the bill would cause many clinics to shut down, requiring 3 in-person visits, which of course requires all kinds of funds. You got to pay the doctors, you got to pay for the travel expenses associated with it, to say nothing of whatever personal feelings and potential personal trauma may ensue from this. It's ridiculous. And as he points out, as Governor Cooper points out, and I'll bring up the receipts here, Tricia Cotham made a campaign promise to protect reproductive rights. As a matter of fact, and this is a tweet that was dated May 3rd, so a year to the day almost, last year, when she was running for office as a pro-choice progressive Democrat. Tricia Cotham, now more than ever, we need leaders who will be unwavering and unapologetic in their support of abortion rights. I'll fight to codify Roe in the hashtag NCGA, North Carolina General Assembly, and continue my strong record of defending the right to choose. This was as the Supreme Court was poised to overturn, the United States Supreme Court, poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. This abortion ban that's passing in North Carolina, thanks to Tricia Cotham's betrayal, is not a codification of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade did not codify abortion bans at 12 weeks or the banning of medication abortion at 10 weeks. This is a far cry from the codification of the restrictions and parameters of Roe v. Wade. She lied. She absolutely lied. This is a vast departure. The other thing I want to point out is when she claimed in her press conference why she was leaving the Democratic Party, she mentioned, again, feeling controlled and bullied. Well, somebody else pointed out, Tricia Cotham in 2015, when she was a public servant, also mentioned being harassed by Republicans. I've had people flip me off. I've had people swerve at me in their cars. North Carolina's Tricia Cotham says, recalling that a Republican colleague came up to her and called her a baby killer right after the session adjourned. And this was when she announced during, again, a very passionate, powerful speech on the floor of the General Assembly State House that she had exercised her right to have an abortion. So I'm confused. Democrats are the bullies. Meanwhile, Republicans have flipped you off, have had people swerve at you, and a Republican colleague has come up to your face after you give this powerful passion speech in defense of women's rights that you yourself have exercised to call you a baby killer, and that's okay? So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if it's politics, if it's money, whatever it is, but Tricia Cotham betrayed her constituents. I think she defrauded them. Unfortunately, North Carolina has no recall provision or runoff provision, which is despicable, but it's ridiculous. If she had any integrity whatsoever, she would resign. Like, think about it. Let's take her words at face value that she had a sincere change of heart. Guys, listen. Yes, I campaigned as a progressive pro-choice Democrat. Yes, that's how and why my constituents in the deeply blue district elected me. I know that. But as a person, as a legislator, I've had a change of heart. I've had a sincere epiphany about the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party. Some of my values and legislative priorities have changed, and it's sincere. She could say that. She could claim that. She has. However, the natural follow-up, if she had any integrity, would be is this. But I recognize that my constituents that I was elected to serve and represent did not elect me to be a pro-life or pro-forced birth Republican. So what I will do is effectively resign and run for re-election next term as a pro-life, pro-forced birth Republican. That way I can honor my constituents, I can give them full disclosure, and they won't feel defrauded or betrayed. But of course, she hasn't announced that she's going to resign, and she won't resign because she has no integrity, because this was a cynical, calculated betrayal. It's pathetic. Women are going to suffer and die in North Carolina because of this woman's decisions. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Like I said, it hits close to home. But this is the depths to which the Republican Party has sunk. And by the way, they have vowed, since they have now a veto-proof supermajority, they do intend to use that veto-proof supermajority to redistrict once again. So they're probably going to try to save Tricia Cotham's ass politically by redrawing her district in a way that will allow her to run for re-election after pissing off her constituency. So that's the depths to which the Republican Party has sunk. We need to fight harder as Democrats.